Thank you.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge, congratulations. Judge Cheeks, I see you're quite a prolific writer, and you say I heard you answer Senator Durbin's question, you said you don't take a position in these articles?
I said I tried not to take a position in most of my articles.
Well, you didn't succeed. In October 2020, you published an article entitled, "I Can't Breathe." You remember that article?
I do remember that article.
Okay. You were talking about Mr. George Floyd's tragic death. Here's what you said, quote, your words, not mine, quote, "What happened next after Mr. Floyd's death is nothing short of amazing. Mostly peaceful protest broke out almost immediately in Minneapolis, and the use of excessive force by police officers became the villain in a sea of protesters," end quote. Did I read that accurately?
That sounds correct, yes, Senator.
All right, and then in October of 2019, you wrote an article entitled "Raising Responsibility: A Concerned Parent's Perspective." You remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
Did you take a position in that article?
I recall my position being talking about how am I going to address issues with my children.
So you did take positions, unlike what you told Senator Durbin.
What I told Senator Durbin that I try not to take positions.
Okay. Well, I want to read you from your article. Quote, your words, not mine. "Needless to say, I have a guarded opinion about the police. How do I teach my sons to respect them and fear them at the same time? There can be no question that police officers have some of these same internal or external biases." Let me repeat that. There can be no question that police officers, not some, all police officers have some of these same internal or external biases described above. Do some of them view black males differently than others? I think so. Sounds like a position to me. Do some think black males are more dangerous than others? I think so. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you read that correctly.
All right, now, and then in May of 2019, you remember writing an article for a publication, the title of the article, the title of your article in which you say you didn't take a position was called "The Federal Dungeon Part 2, Court Proceedings." You remember that?
I do.
Okay. And you were talking about, it was then under President Trump, not President Biden, the Department of Justice then had a zero tolerance for illegal entry into the United States, because that, of course, is the law. And this is what you said about that. Quote, "Technically, the law was broken, but these particular defendants, poor, hungry, hardworking, and not dangerous, deserve a pass from prosecution." End quote.
On Capitol Hill, a tense exchange unfolded as Senator John Kennedy pressed a federal judicial nominee on past writings, public statements, and perceived political leanings. What started as a confirmation hearing quickly turned into a cross-examination, one that covered race, policing, immigration, and the history of the U.S. legal system. Senator Kennedy wasted no time, congratulating the nominee before drawing attention to her prolific writing record. He pointed to a 2020 article titled, "I Can't Breathe," written in the wake of George Floyd's death. In it, the judge described the protests that followed as mostly peaceful and suggested that police officers had become the villain in a sea of protesters. Kennedy read the quote aloud, emphasizing the words and asking if it was accurate, prompting the judge to confirm that it was. Kennedy moved to a 2019 article, "Raising Responsibility: A Concerned Parent's Perspective," where the nominee openly discussed her guarded opinion of police. She wrote about the challenge of teaching her sons to both respect and fear officers, stating that there could be no question police officers carry internal or external biases, especially toward black males. To Kennedy, this was more than commentary, it was a clear position, contradicting her earlier claim that she tries not to take positions in her writings. Next, Kennedy cited another 2019 piece, The Federal Dungeon Part 2, addressing illegal immigration under the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy. The judge had written that while the law was technically broken, the defendants she described poor, hungry, hard-working, and not dangerous deserved a pass from prosecution. Kennedy framed this as advocating against criminalizing illegal immigration. The nominee countered that these writings were made while she was an advocate, not a judge, insisting that her current role requires a different standard. Kennedy
Saying that illegal immigration should not be criminalized is a position, is it not?
It is. What I'd like to add is that everything that I wrote while I was an advocate, not a sitting judge.
Oh, I see. That makes a difference. Did you
that was-
mean it when you wrote it?
When I wrote it,
Did you mean it?
I meant it when I wrote it because
Okay, but you don't mean it now?
I do not mean it now.
So if you
right
take
now.
off your advocate hat today, do you have your advocate hat on today? Or?
I am no longer an advocate. I'm a sitting magistrate
Okay,
judge.
so you don't tell the truth when you're an advocate, but you do when you're not? Is it okay to lie if you're an advocate?
I don't follow the question.
I think it's pretty clear, and I think you follow it. You've taken a lot of radical positions, Judge, and you can't make this cat walk backwards. Now, you can't make...
phase of her career. This hearing highlighted the growing scrutiny judicial nominees face not just for their legal rulings, but for every public statement, article, and opinion they've ever expressed. In a polarized political climate, such moments reveal the tension between past advocacy and present impartiality, and how each can shape public confidence in the courts. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscriber button for more Political Showdown.